Welcome back to Living Off Grid. Today I'm going to demonstrate how I load my sawmill with the winch and the ramp. Kind of give you a perspective there on another way to do it. So let's get to it. So for setting up the mill, the first thing I did was I put up the ramps on the mill. These are just 2x6s that I cut from a hard maple tree. And to keep them sturdy and in place, I cut a simple notch right here in the board that sits on the rail. I just use my chainsaw and put about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch deep notch there. Seems to work really good. They don't move at all, and they seem to be strong enough to load quite large logs. The second thing I need to do, and I've already done, is I get the log up here presented as close as I can to these so that I can reach out with my winch cable and get it started. This log's got a little bit of a bend in it, so it'll roll kind of funny, so I may have to reposition after I see how it rolls up the ramps and how it's tracking. Okay, now for the winch, getting in a little detail here, I'm using this Badland 2000 from Harbor Freight. It's got a manual remote, and down here is just a regular deep cycle battery that I charged up on the solar system. That'll work quite well. In the future, I plan to add a solar panel, charge controller, and an inverter down here. It's shaded, so it's not going to get a lot of power, but I'm not down here all the time, so it should be able to charge up quick enough between the times that I use the mill and I'm not. Okay, hold on for the rest and I'll set up and get ready to go. Okay, the next step is to pull your winch cable out far enough to reach the log, go around it, and then back to an attachment point on the mill, or the shelter over the mill. This allows me to go over the log, under it, and then back to a point. So when I pull on it, it's going to roll the log up. So let's do that now. Okay, so now we have the cable stretched out over top of the log and back under and attached to the mill structure. What that's going to allow it to do is pull that log up from the top. It's going to roll as it goes and roll it right up onto the mill. Now this is the dangerous part. Please use caution. I don't recommend you do anything like this, but if you should, there's a couple things you should be aware of. One, we're using a winch. There are inherent dangers with using a winch. It can break free from its mounting, so stay out of the way of it. Also, this log, if it does break free, anything downstream of it, it's going to roll right into it and destroy it. Whether that be a vehicle, people, pets, animals, doesn't matter. That log weighs probably 600-700 pounds, maybe more, depending on how wet it is. Okay, so we're ready to roll it up here. I may have to guide the cable a little bit, make sure it's not binding up in one spot, but other than that, I'm going to try to stay out of the way of this winch. So here we go. Okay, so as you can see, that doesn't take really all that long. The setup is what takes the most amount of time. Realistically, I think that might be a little quicker than loading it with my tractor if you think about having to get off and run the chains around it, pick it up, and then work it back and forth. This one went on fairly easy. However, I've had others that didn't want to track straight because they were so big on one end, and I've had to let them roll back down and reposition the cable to pull them up at a different spot. That's something else that's nice about the winch. I can move the cable to one end or the other and kind of straighten up the log. I already had this one nice and straight or parallel with the mill, and it rolled up there, and as you can see, let me pick you up here. You can see that the high point of the log, the crest of the log, is up. I really particularly want that. It makes my first cut a lot easier. You get to see the board. I don't know really how to explain it, but it helps me in my cutting process to have that first bow be up if I do have a bowed log. Alright, so that's about it for this video. Let me put you back on the stand here. Sorry about the hand in the way. Alright, so I just wanted to kind of demonstrate this process because I showed you in the last video how I load with the tractor. And now I'm going to get to cutting, but I'm not going to record that. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe.